Welcome back, boys and girls, to Celebrate Wonder. We have been spending the last couple of weeks learning about Abraham and Sarah and the word covenant, which means promise. Let's review about what we know about Abraham and Sarah. Abraham and Sarah left their home and left their family, left their country, all their friends, and trusted God and followed him to a new land. And when they were in that new land, God promised Abraham, or made a covenant with Abraham, that their descendants would be as numerous as stars in the sky. And if you've been with me, you have learned that on a very clear night, you can only count about 3,000 stars, but there are more stars than that in the sky. Now, Abraham had some doubts. He asked God, how is that possible? We're very old and we have no children. But he believed that God would keep his promises. Last week, Abraham and Sarah had 3 surprise visitors. They appeared suddenly. Abraham and Sarah did not see them coming and approaching their home. But when they did see them, they quickly prepared a wonderful feast for them and served them with something called hospitality. That means treating your guest with kindness and compassion and giving your guest the best that you have. Well, one of the guests said, I'm going to come back this time next year. And when I come back, Sarah will have a baby. Now, Sarah overheard that and she laughed. And the guest said, Sarah, why are you laughing? Don't you know that nothing is too hard for God? I wonder, do you think faith is important? I do. Do you think keeping your promises is important? I really believe that's important. Now let's hear what happens next with Abraham and Sarah. I'm going to get out our storybook Bible and show you the picture. So what do you think? What do you think happens? It looks like there's a baby in the picture. A year after the visitors came, Sarah and Abraham did have a baby. They named their baby Isaac, which means laughter. Sarah was full of joy, and she said, God has given me joyful laughter. Who would have thought that I would have a baby when I was 90 years old? I'm not sure anybody thought Sarah would have a baby at 90. So now we're going to look at our big Bible, our deep blue Bible, and see what that says. This story comes from the first book of the Bible, which is Genesis, chapter 21, verses 1 through 7. The Lord was attentive to Sarah just as he had said, and the Lord carried out just what he promised her. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son for Abraham when he was old, at that very time God had told him. Abraham named his son Isaac. Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, just as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son was born. Sarah said, God has given me laughter. Everyone who hears about it will laugh with me. She said, who would have told Abraham that Sarah would nurse sons? But now I've given birth to a boy when he was old. So we can pause the video now and go to the website and watch the I Wonder video. And when you join me, we'll roll our Wonder Cube. All right, welcome back. Let's roll our Wonder Cube. So, I wonder, what is your favorite part of the Bible story? My favorite part was when Isaac was born and Sarah laughed. She laughed not because she thought things were funny and not possible, but she laughed because she was filled with happiness. All right, I wonder, where did you see God in this story? I see God because Abraham was 100 and Sarah was 90 when Isaac was born. God kept his promises, and nothing is too hard for God. Last question. I wonder, if you could be any character in the Bible story, what character would you be and why? I would like to be Sarah because she was so happy. Now let's review our faith word, which is faith. Faith is to believe in God's presence and to be hopeful. Sarah and Abraham certainly hoped that they would have a son. And let's review our memory verse. The Lord carried out just what he had promised. So he promised Abraham and Sarah that he would guide and protect them to a new land. And he promised Abraham and Sarah that they would have a child. So God carried out his promises. Are we ready to look in the Wonder Box? Let's look in the Wonder Box. So what do you think is in here today? All right, let me open it. And what is this? That's a baby rattle. You're right. I wonder, why do you think that's in my Wonder Box this week? There's one more thing. Did anybody have one of these when they were a baby? This is a very special, it's silver, a special baby brush. And it represents the baby that Abraham and Sarah had. Okay, I wonder, what would it be like to have really old parents? I wonder, has anything ever surprising happened to you? I wonder, what makes you laugh? Sarah named her baby Isaac, which means laughter. She said, God has given me laughter. Everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. I wonder, what does your name mean? My real name is Melissa, and Melissa means honeybee. And I'll tell you the names and the meanings of my 3 boys. Daniel means God is my judge. Adam means earth. And Andrew means manly and strong. Why don't you look up your name and see what it means? Okay, let's play a quick game together. True or false? Abraham and Sarah moved from their home to California. If you said false, you're right. Abraham offered 3 visitors a meal. That's true. For dessert, they ate apple pie. We don't know what they ate, so let's call that false. A guest told Abraham and Sarah they would have a son within the year. That's true. Sarah had a daughter and named her Isabel. I don't think that's true. We know that she had a son and named him Isaac. Abraham was faithful. That's true. God kept the promise that he made, and that is absolutely true. When someone has a baby, they make a promise to care for the baby. What do you promise to care for? Do you promise to care for your animals, or if you have an iPhone or a cell phone, you could promise to care for that? How about God's creation, everything in nature? I think we can promise to care for that as well. So, I invite you at this time, if you've printed off the pages from the website, to color the joy. Why do you think we're coloring in the word joy? That's right. Sarah was full of joy when she had a baby. Now, if you would like, once you finish this, you can go to the website and watch our story time together. And let's have a prayer. Let's bow our heads. God, we thank you for fulfilling your promises and bringing us so much joy. Amen. I'll see you next week.